Best of three commences. Welcome everybody, Inner Peace, Grungy, Spartan Elite, Rexy, Rakeem 1, to the second round that I'm casting. Second round of the Roman tournament that I'm casting. And both players are playing Persia. Persia's been such a well-rounded civ. Doesn't really necessarily spike in any way, but I do think that they are just such a great well-rounded civ. So I'm looking forward to a lot of diverse comps. We saw an actual Persia mirror match between, who was it? Was it Tossa and EKA? And the player who went for all Asabara was the player who unfortunately wasn't able to compete, especially not because he wasn't raiding. So in this matchup, I expect these players to do a lot more raiding, obviously, but have a lot better varied and diverse comp. Archer sees this, and I think he should see the barracks. Yeah, I didn't even see a TC, but he came to see what he needed to see. Alrighty, both these players pumping out some Sparabara. Not nearly as good as they used to be. They only have that .2 pierce armor. And now Zerton sees the Sparabara coming out. I wonder if either one of these players is going to take the aggressive stance in the match, or if they're just going to jockey for position. You know, whether or not they just make enough Sparabara to sustain an even amount with their opponent, so that they don't get pushed off their own hunts or don't get their second TCs pushed on. Grungy's, I think a couple more matches are going to be played. Maybe Verhoover and Erie later in the day. I know Game Video and Eshwar are going to play later in the day. But unfortunately, I don't think at the same time as this stream. So just watch out for that notification. Make sure to follow if you don't already have that notification on. Well, it looks like Ardashir is going to be the one who is housed actually right now, but he's going to try to move out across the map with his Sparabara. And he's got 4 of them here. He's bringing in his scout as well just to soak up some more DPS, but there's more than enough Sparabara count here for Zerton. And Ardashir's taking this fight. Doesn't look like a good fight for him, and now he's going to be on the back foot. And with the new, he's smartly moving these units back to not get them caught up in the snare, but with that new snare increase to Spearman and Sparabara, yeah, it looks like Zerton's going to chase and chase and chase, and he actually doesn't have anybody on stone right now yet, so he's just an age 1, almost 30 population. You don't see this often, and he's just putting on the pressure. Let's see here, getting up a second barrack, Zerton is. I wonder if Ardashir's gonna do something similar. You know, he took a really good fight, so he knows he's up a couple of Sparabara, and maybe he's just gonna try to snowball that advantage. Zerton sees that there's quite a lot of things here, and Ardashir actually has gotten A10 up. But if the micro is strong for Zerton, it won't matter that he's got the A10 up. But maybe the A10 is scary enough for him to fall back. And this is a critical, very critical hunt for Ardashir here. Oh man, he sees that there's so many Sparabara. 11 Sparabara to the 7 plus A10. Ardashir's waiting up to try to get to H2, I think. Yeah, and he's going to go for a storehouse, but I don't think you would expect that the Sparabara count to continue to rise. Double Sparabara production. No age 1 yet. Or age 2 yet. Finally, Ardashir's going H2, but again, this isn't like the other matches. This is a mirror match between Persia, who doesn't have an age 2 anti-infantry unit. So it's going to be very difficult, especially if Zerton were to queue up to age 2, get that like really strong. Archer should see this. Should see this, that he needs more Sparabar or needs more Asabar or something else. This is a very scary 17 Sparabar and counting. So yeah, as I was saying, age 2 with Sparabara, with the Sparabar champion upgrade, they can just sit underneath the double TC fire all day. So Ardashir is going to need something. He's an age 2 right now. He's not dropping down any production facilities, and that's what Zerton's scout was here trying to figure out. There's so many Sparabara. 21 Sparabara, and he's going straight for the barracks? No, he's going for something else. Ardashir has more than enough resources to get that second town center down, but I don't think he feels safe enough to do that. He's dropping it. Oh no, he's dropping an archer range instead. A much smarter choice, but man, the power of just a ton of Sparabara in the mix. This is very different from how you usually see it, but it works nonetheless. The archer range goes down, but now he's floating only 100 resources here in terms of wood. So the bowmen aren't even going to do much, and they're Sparabara in the first place, right? So he's trying to micro his heart out here, getting all these 21 villagers, these villagers that are not doing much, like in the mix to try to fight against Zerton, and all these Sparabara. This is going to be close. I think he might be able to hold it. There's 21 Sparabara here in the mix. Let's see the villager count. 22 villagers to the 26, despite... and that's probably due to the fact that he got to age 2 slower. So that's perfectly fine. Perfectly acceptable. Zerton right now is missing some cycles, missing some villager stuff, but he's putting on massive pressure. This 8-10's coming in clutch. Look how many look how many 8 storehouses here in the mix just to help Ardashir sustain his villager population. And he's up to still at 22 villagers to the 28. So it's not even game ending right now. See, 16 Sparabar still in the base. And like, never forget, you know, lest we forget, there's still a ton of stone here in the bank. Ardashir just needs to make sure that these idle villagers don't go idle for too long. Either get them fighting these Sparabar or get them onto something. Zerton still, like, this is his push. This is his whole thing. I take that back. He has a second TC. I missed this. Unfortunate. He's getting up a second, an archer range, getting up a stable. So he's gonna macro very well behind this. And Ardashir, 18 villagers to the 31. Has more and more bowmen, but I think, let's see, where is Zerton still streaming in units? Looks like he is, but the majority of the fight has been squashed. The issue is, the main issue isn't that the army's been squashed, is that the damage has been done. Really effective raiding. Really effective raiding. Good pressure by Zerton. Just showing the mastery, knowing that this is in particular, that this matchup is so dependent on who can take the momentum early on in the game. Yeah. Kuki's saying probably should have scouted the second barracks. I agree, but at the same time, there was a lot. You saw a lot of Sparabara. You should have been like, what's going on here? Why is there so many? I gotta match. You know, it's always a matching game. You never want to go too hard on Sparabara if you don't have to, but if you see your opponent has like 20, 15 Sparabara, then you gotta queue up some Sparabara of your own. And man, look at this production queue. So sexy. These resources looking very clean. Second TC coming down here from Ardashir. He's not giving up, and I respect that. See here, no handsaw yet, but obviously that makes sense. He's struggling for for gold and wants to use that food production as just that, like for all of his villagers. Zerton, though, coming in at the most opportune time. All of these villagers exposed here as he's desperately trying to get up his second town center. 23 villagers to the 47, and these villagers are standing here idly trying to get up this second TC. And let's see, does Archer have enough of a bowman ball count to do something about this? But man, yeah, these storehouses are coming in absolutely clutch. This chip damage from these bowmen aren't going to be good enough. And the bowmen from Archer, who Zerton is just letting sit there for free, getting off good damage here on the army of Zerton. And Zerton, yeah, realizes even with Sparabara champion, with that 0.5 Pierce armor, still can't really push in. Or it can't sit under that double TC production for too long. 53 villagers to the 26, so that's the real story of this game. And Zerton smartly going after the production, the meat shield production of Ardashir, who now only sits on this one archery range. And so the end is near. Another stable's coming out, so second production facility from Ardashir. I like it. I like it. Only issue is, oh, look at this. Look how smart Zerton is, scouting around, making sure he's not taking any of this this food that's far away from his base. And the contained is real, right? You're only on 3 berry bushes left. These berry bushes are going to run out soon, and Zerton's going to pressure that most heavily. Oh, I like this, though. Archer is using his TC to queue up shots on the bowman. But the Asabar and Sparabar are getting on Archer's bowman, and that's going to be, I think the death blow. All of the villagers are down. 21 villagers now to the 60. More than enough. And Zerton still, look how good his resource control is. Oh my goodness. Great game, great game.